Hi, and welcome to GreenBiz Studio. I'm Pete May, co-founder of GreenBiz Group, and I'm delighted to be here today with Nicole Peerless from Pulsora. Nicole, tell us what your real name is. I don't know, is it really Peerless?
It is really Peerless. Pete, thanks so much for having me. And I'd just like to share that, yeah, I kept my name, didn't change it with marriage.
Well, that's great. Good. Well, we'll try to make this as peerless an interview as we can have. You are head of global business engagement for Pulsora. I was looking at your background. You had an eclectic and very impressive background working at World Economic Forum. You worked in consulting. You worked in private equity. Tell us what led you to Pulsora, and what is Pulsora anyway?
Absolutely. Thanks for that. Pete, it's great to be here with GreenBiz and super excited for the conference in February. Pulsora is an all-in-one platform for enterprise sustainability management. So we essentially help companies to collect, report, and improve on their ESG and sustainability performance and disclosure. Pulsora, I joined as an early member of their leadership team over 2 years ago. It was an exciting opportunity that was brought to me by Murat Somnez, who is our co-founder and CEO. He and our other co-founder, Inderjeet Singh, are Silicon Valley veterans. They've built and scaled technology businesses before. Pulsora was inspired by a lot of the work we did at the World Economic Forum with regards to ESG stakeholder capitalism. And ESG in private markets. So much of my career, I've been in the private market space and private equity, focusing, I implemented our first ESG strategy at a private equity firm 15 years ago. ESG reporting is wildly different than it was, now than it was then. And so at the time, 2 years ago, it was the first time that I got to be a part of technology, but we're really here to help companies navigate, the alphabet soup of reporting and all of, through the multiple different regulations that we now see today.
Yeah, well, let's get into that. So, obviously ESG is it can be it can be a contentious term. Despite what you might feel about the term, there's been tremendous momentum in terms of reporting requirements. Europe with CSRD, the SEC, certainly the California legislation that's come in. I could go on and on. So how do you think companies, I'd like you to answer this question in two forms. How do companies stay ahead of the curve in preparing for these regulations? And then take us a little bit beyond compliance. Everybody's dealing with compliance right now, but certainly we want to get toward impact and not compliance. Tell us how they should think about reporting going forward beyond compliance.
Absolutely. So I think, as you pointed out, ESG and sustainability reporting is not new, but it has evolved tremendously. We see regulation as a powerful driver, so kind of the wind in the sails within the space that we're in. But it shouldn't be the ultimate goal, for a firm. Companies really need to understand what is materially important to them first and foremost. So I always think about, how does sustainability line to a company's strategy, their goals and their bottom line? And then from there, once they've understand what's materially important, how can they use data to drive insights? So how can they, discover inefficiencies, in their business processes, reduce environmental impact, improve employee well-being, foster ethical governance practices, and really having that sustainable growth, not just benefit the company, but then it kind of, benefits the wider ecosystem as a whole. So we really do see regulation as a driver, but not the end all and be all, of the reporting.
That's great. So, and I guess my last question, give us a flavor. Every sustainability executive out there is right now again struggling with this load of compliance and then trying to have impact. Take us a little bit farther forward. Like, if we get this right, what is sustainability reporting like going forward the next few years, and what advice do you give companies who are just starting kind of on their reporting journey? What things should they think about? What pitfalls to avoid? A little bit on that.
Absolutely. So we always say here at Pulsora is kind of what gets measured gets managed. So that's a key learning, and something that we talk to our clients about. So again, it's around that, what are your clear goals? And then also for a company to commit to continuous improvement. So, this isn't a straight line journey. Reporting is an ongoing process. So, embrace the learnings, but also adapt the approach along the way. I would say invest in a robust data management platform and seek guidance. These are some of the tips and tricks. What I'm seeing right now in terms of what's changed in the landscape is we used to see sustainability teams come to us alone, perhaps with IT and procurement. But with that piece on regulation, this is really looking like a multi-stakeholder approach. So going forward, I'm seeing a lot more of clients coming to us with multiple internal stakeholders. So now really bringing in their counterparts from accounting, compliance, and legal. So just not the sustainability team alone. And then again, it's really difficult to track everything on spreadsheets and emails. That doesn't necessarily hold up to audit and assurance. So accurate data, transparent sources means that you can submit your work with confidence. So again, what you can measure, you can manage.
Yeah, well, that's great. There'll be no shortage of work to be done in this space. I know, again, every sustainability executive that we deal with is wrestling with this. My God, how do we comply? And then beyond that, how do we really have impact? Where is this really have meaning? So lots of work for you. So I've been really excited to do my first Peerless interview. Joel McCower, who's the co-founder of GreenBiz, is big on puns, so I'm sure he'd have a better way to pun off your last name.
Wonderful.
Peerless today. But it has been a Peerless discussion. Nicole Peerless, head of global and business engagement for Pulsora. Thanks for joining us today on GreenBiz Studio.
Thank you so much, Pete, for having me and for having Pulsora. We are very excited to see you in person next month at your annual meeting.